What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by my channel. Welcome back. So here's another video. This time it's on parenting. As I mentioned before, the purpose of these videos is to try to pass on best practices, best tips in an effort to try to save you time, trial and error, and hopefully you get some benefit out of somebody else's experience. So I'm a successful parent, and I don't say that to boast, but more to qualify the advice. And I figure a successful parent is one who, if he passed away today, would his son be able to take care of himself and lead a happy and fulfilling life? And I think the answer would be yes in our case. So my son graduated college and became a homeowner at 22. Got married at 26 or 27, and has learned problem solving and leads a big team at work, doing something that he enjoys and pays well. So I raised him as a single dad. We were kind of like, if anybody remembers that old movie, Boys in the Hood or Boys from the Hood, Trey and Furious. Well, I was like Furious and my son was like Trey. I was a young dad. Had him at 18. I didn't know anything. But what I did know is that I had to be responsible. He was my charge. He was in my care. And I was not going to let him be raised without a dad like me. Because growing up fatherless is probably one of the worst things that can happen to a boy. I mean, of course there are worse things like, abuse and stuff like that, but growing up fatherless is right up there, almost with abuse. So I didn't want my son to grow up like that. So I looked at what didn't work in my case, and I kind of did the opposite. So at the very pinnacle of everything was our faith, putting my son's life in God's hands with trust. That was first and foremost. I respect everybody's beliefs. I really genuinely wish everybody knew Jesus, knew the Lord. But if you don't, I'm not here to talk down or make any judgment. But in my experience, that was first and foremost. Was putting everything in God's hands. And along with, in the tradition of faith or in the vein of faith, unconditional love. The understanding that nothing he could ever do would make me love him more or less, which is kind of the way God loves us. Nothing we can do will ever make God love us more or less. It's just unconditional love from a father. So that was the kind of the building block, faith and unconditional love. And right up there with those things was selflessness. Every major decision taken was with his best interest in mind. Whether it was taking a new job, getting a new car, moving to a new house, every major life decision was taken with his best interest in mind. And that goes back to, if you saw my other video, the value of selflessness. So right up there with faith, unconditional love, and selflessness is strict discipline. It's a very close fourth. And what I mean by this is, some examples was snack after school, then 2 hours of homework. And that was ingrained since kindergarten. I mean, at kindergarten, they don't really have 2 hours of homework, but that preparation, that study habit of snack after school, then homework, whether it be half an hour in kindergarten or 20 minutes, whatever, forming into greater study time as they get older. Eventually, I think in high school, it was like 2 hours daily of homework. That framework, that discipline was key to help them transition from grade school to high school to college, And it's just discipline. So if you start them young, they form that discipline, and it's learned, it's ingrained. So it comes natural by the time they're in high school. Having dinner together, the family that eats together stays together, sharing about our day, strict discipline about no lies. I made him clean litter in hot sun, in the hot sun, or go to his room with no dinner, only bread and water. If he lied to me, we still laugh about it to this day. His wife says, "No way, my kids will never have to do that." And I was kind of tough, but that's what I made him do as a kid. I was a strict believer in labor. So if I caught him lying, I would make him clean the garage, or pick up dirty diapers, or do litter pickup out on the street. It was kind of nasty. It was in the summertime. Physical labor works really well. And my personal policy was nothing was given, everything was earned, except birthdays and Christmas. That helped them earn everything and appreciate everything and work for everything, which really shows in his daily life today. These are values that, if ingrained when they're young, really pay dividends as they become men. Next down the line was respect. And I'm noticing a trend here. If you saw my other video about values, determining your self-worth, everything kind of always goes back to values. So selflessness, respect, faith, integrity. These things are cornerstones of life. So I really encourage everyone to determine what your values are and live those out. So respecting him always was key. Never calling him names, never yelling at him, never hitting him or putting him down, and demanding the same. One of the key things that I learned was focusing on behavior, not him, was really important. An example, what you did was bad, not you are bad, or I'm disappointed in what you did. Lying was bad, cheating was bad, never you're bad, because parents are all knowing to children, and if you tell a child something, he's going to believe you. So a parent can make a child soar or ground him. So I really tried to always focusing on the behavior, never his person. Stability. Stability was incredibly important. We had one house, 3 schools growing up. He went to one school, Catholic school, K through 8, another Catholic school, 9 through 12, and then university after high school. So that stability was incredibly key. He developed friendships. He developed it turbo boosts a young person's development and self-confidence. So stability, if you can. I know people lose their jobs, people move, sometimes you can't help it, but if you can help it, try to stay in one house, try and stay in one school. That stability is incredibly important. And then developing self-worth through accomplishments and reaching milestones, whether it be in scholastic efforts, sports, music. My son liked video games, whatever. The key is reaching milestones, reaching accomplishments. Those accomplishments develop their sense of self-worth. So if they study hard on a test and they do well on a test, they develop some sense of self-worth. They play sports, they hit a home run, they hit a basket, they develop some self-worth. They do music. He learns how to play a new song. Learns how to play a new instrument. They develop self-worth. They start learning that they're good, and that becomes ingrained in them, and forms, I like to say, in the back of your head. It becomes part of who they are. And then lastly, a father has to lead the home. If you have a strong father in the home, you're more likely to have success. And I'm going to give an example of a challenging time when my son was in high school. I think he was a sophomore in high school, may have been a junior, and he was getting to a point where he did not want to study, did not want to do his homework, did not want to listen. He was becoming a bit rebellious, and I wasn't having it. I was ensuring that we were going to be successful. He was going to graduate high school. He was going to do either college or trade school or something, but he was going to develop, and he was not going to act lazy. And one day we had a disagreement, we had a bad interaction, and I said, let's come downstairs with me for a second. So we went downstairs, and we moved all the furniture in the living room. I moved the couches, I moved the coffee tables, I moved the fan, I moved the TV out of the way. It was just a big empty living room, and we stood at one end of the room, and I told him, okay, we're going to start at this end of the room, and our goal is going to be to get to the other end of the room. We're going to get there together, and I want you to fight me as much as you can. Drop yourself, let me carry your weight, whatever, push me, punch me, whatever. Fight me, and we're going to get to the other side of the room. And so we did this exercise, and I put my arms around him, and he was fighting me, and slowly but surely, over 1 or 2 minutes, we ended up going from one side of the living room to the other side of the living room, and it was a great challenge because he fought me all the way. But I didn't let go. I basically picked him up, carried him, and we got to the other side of the room, which was the goal. And then I said, okay, now let's start over. We're going to go back to the other side of the room where we started, and this time I'm going to be with you again, but this time I want you to work with me. I want you to walk with me, and we're going to get to the other side of the room. And so again, I put my arm around him, and this time we worked together to get to the other side of the room. We walked, and it was so much easier. This was a figurative, it was a metaphor for, I'm going to will this, we are going to work together to make this happen one way or another. And we can do this the hard way. It's going to be really hard if we do it the hard way, or we can do it the easy way, and we can have more success. We can have a lot more leisure. It won't be as hard. And he ended up getting the message. He saw how much easier, how much simpler, how much better it was to work together the second time around, to get from one side to the other. And after that, there was no more disagreement. I think he understood that Dad was not going to give up, that Dad was going to, we were going to make it to the other side together, one way or another, and failure was not an option. So a strong dad in the home is key, and I encourage everybody to think outside the box. I don't know how I got that idea. I'd never seen it before. I've never seen it since. It was just something that came to my mind. You have to, the world that you raise, the world that your children will raise their children in doesn't exist yet. So the world that your parents raised you in doesn't exist any longer. You kind of, and this goes back to learning how to think, knowing how to think, you kind of have to think out of the box and do what you think as a father as to what is best to guide your family going forward. So sorry for the long spiel. I try to make it quick this time. I hope you get some value out of this. If you find some value, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you later. God bless you. Take care.